We're literally in a copy machine, and the unsaved, uncircumcised, unbelievers, they're actually just running on a program. They're part of the program to teach you how to love your enemy, love your neighbor, observe, not absorb. Know that they're running on a program of greed and selfishness and the world, the flesh, and the pride of life. They're just running on a program, and you're in this birthing chamber. You're being made into a copy of Jesus, and so as you're in this birthing chamber, you got to face off with these people, just like Jesus came down here, split space-time. He came to his own received him not. Also, while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. So we were enemies of the cross till we got saved, but he went to the cross for us. I'm not saying that you become Jesus for people, but you give them the truth, and you're going to have. There's a camper right in front of me on the highway, and it's called Reflection, Grand Design Reflection. So these reflections, these copies, actually, when you look at somebody who's lost, you're actually looking at a copy of your old self. And so the copy is like a ghost. Words they say, concepts, ideas, ideology that you used to believe before you got saved, they're just copies of you. And you are a copy of somebody else. So all the worldly wisdom is just a copy of the flesh mind. And it probably goes back to Adam and Eve. I'm sure, not probably, but I'm sure it does go back to Adam and Eve. The old Adam, the old way of thinking is to hide behind a bush, to sew some aprons to cover. See, the Bible says you're blind, you're naked, you're bankrupt, you're deaf, you're dumb and don't even know it. You're blind and deaf and dumb and don't even know it in the flesh mind. Ain't that something? They think they're smart. They think they know what's going on. They might can make some money. They might can function to seem like they're doing all right. They know how to paint the outside. That's what the fig leaves were. They know how to paint the outside. They cover themselves up on the outside and put a painted face, but it's all fake. It's a grand scheme by narcissistic, unsaved people, and it's all about worship self. That's what happened to Eve, right? She worshipped herself. So all you have to do is unfold Genesis 3, and you actually see what's happening right now, today, everywhere, at all times. You can also see the gospel in Genesis 3, where God sacrificed an animal to give them a covering. They tried to make their own covering, but God had to make a covering. Those fig leaves wasn't going to keep them warm or keep them safe. You know, when you wear some clothing that's good clothing, it protects you. You know, I noticed when you're working with jeans on, you don't get as cut as often or scratch your knee or your leg as often if you're just working with pants that are thinner. What am I saying to you? The old flesh mind is just a ghost. It's a memory. It's not even real. They're not even real. They're not real people, to be honest with you. They're human. Jesus died for them. They're walking around, but their whole demeanor, their whole being, everything about them is just ghosts. They're living off a program. I'm serious. It's kind of like a rerun. It's just a rerun. But when you get born again, you're saved, you can see past the program. You don't have to be controlled by the sine wave, the sin wave. The snake eating itself is what it is. The program, they're wise. The Bible says to be wise as serpents, but gentle as doves. So the snake knows how to survive. The snake knows how to camouflage. The snake understands the sine wave. The snake, these unsaved goats and snakes, they know how the system works because they are the system. The sine wave is them. They're not. They use the drama and the Draco system and law and letter, and they try to put you back under law. And the whole system is a snake system of draconian system. And once you get free in Jesus, you're outside of it. But you know what they're in. And you know that the law, the letter kills. So you can go to a legalistic church. I can go down here to a legalistic Baptist church, sit on the pew, and I already know what the preacher's going to say. He wants you there every Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday. And he's going to say something in the pulpit like, if you don't show up, something bad's going to happen to your kids, or you better show up. They want you worshiping a building or them or a system or their character or personality. They actually worship people like Jack Hyles. The personality, they worship these people's personality. They worship the person and not Jesus. They worship somebody who can be cruel and mean like Jack Hyles, but say it in a way that he's also trying to show grace, but he's really just being mean. They worship that. It's like hiding meanness with fake grace, because if it was real grace, it wouldn't be legalism. And I'm not saying Jack Hyles, well, he is kind of one of them, yeah. I am saying that. He is one of them. But they have some good teaching. They can rightly divide the word of truth. Yeah, they got the truth. But what about grace? What about leaving your box? Why you want to go back under legalism? If it's faith alone, in Jesus alone, it's always faith alone. Those that worship must worship in spirit and in truth. Why you want somebody to worship a 2x4 sheetrock building? Won't you build a tent? So they get all these building programs and they put people back under pressure. Why don't you just worship in a tent? If you're really serious, why are you stressing out over that building program? The reason they don't get online and start YouTube channels because the criticism, they'll be revealed that legalism is the deal, what they're dealing with. Deep down, there's always an underlying theme. In legalism, you got three underlying themes with denominations: legalism, emotionalism, and traditionalism. Those three themes are not walking in the Spirit. Walking in the Spirit is not emotionalism. It's not traditionalism, following traditions. And it's not legalism. It's not rule-based living. Rule-based living is not walking in the Spirit. You don't need rules when you're in the Spirit walk. Because is not love above the law? Is not truth above the law? Why you need law when you are above the law? In love and truth, love, grace, and truth is above the law. Why do you need the law when you're above it? It's all big. It's all part of it. They're still trying to. So let's say if they are saved, they're still trying to live in the flesh, the energy of the flesh, because they don't understand it's a snake system, and the snake eating itself. They're actually eating each other in the church, putting them back under law, and let them be accursed who preaches another gospel. The Bible says. It says it twice. Let him be accursed that preaches another gospel.